Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling one of the absolute biggest dilemmas in decentralized finance. How do you maximize your yield without sacrificing your flexibility? Specifically, we're going to look at the stark contrasts between traditional native Ethereum staking and the really groundbreaking cross-chain architecture of the Kira network. We're going to explore exactly how you can make your assets work harder, smarter, and infinitely more securely. Okay, let's dive into this.
Seriously, think about that for a second. If you've been in the crypto space for a while, you know this pain point all too well. You want to support a network, you want to earn those passive staking rewards, but doing so traditionally means your capital is just trapped. It's locked behind a smart contract, completely illiquid. But I want you to imagine a world where you could earn those exact same staking rewards while your underlying assets remain fully liquid, ready to trade or invest somewhere else.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, the Ethereum staking dilemma. Second, enter Kira network. Third, liquid staking derivatives explained. Fourth, maximizing capital efficiency. Fifth, scaling blockchain security. And finally, number 6, a multi-chain future. And to make all of this super concrete, we're going to actually trace the journey of a single Ethereum token through this entire process.
All right, Section 1, the Ethereum staking dilemma, locked capital and capped security. When we talk about native staking on a platform like Ethereum, we really have to acknowledge it comes with some pretty severe limitations.
And this brilliantly illustrates the friction we're dealing with here. In the rigid reality of native staking, your assets are locked up, your capital just sits there completely idle aside from generating a baseline yield, and honestly, most terrifyingly, you're highly vulnerable to market volatility. The ideal DeFi scenario is exactly the opposite, right? We want liquid assets, working capital that compounds, and the ability to adapt instantly to massive price swings.
100%, literally all of it. That is the reality of the traditional model. When you stake natively on Ethereum, 100% of your capital is typically locked away. If the broader crypto market suddenly crashes, or maybe it spikes and you want to take profits, there's no way to react. You're completely stuck. Your hands are tied by unlock periods and protocol rules.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter Kira Network, the cross-chain settlement hub. Kira operates as a foundational layer built from the ground up to keep your capital moving.
Now, to understand how Kira achieves this, we kind of need to break down some heavy jargon. Kira uses something called multi-bonded proof of stake. What does that mean? Well, unlike Ethereum, where the network is secured solely by ETH, Kira isn't just secured by one native token. It's actually secured by any asset brought into its ecosystem. It allows you to deposit a whole variety of different digital assets and stake them to secure the network itself.
Let's trace that single ETH token I mentioned earlier. Step 1, you send your ETH via a cross-chain protocol. Step 2, that ETH gets securely locked in a multi-signature smart contract on its native chain. Step 3, here's where the magic happens. A one-to-one representation of that ETH is minted directly on the Kira network. And Step 4, you can now trade, utilize DeFi apps, and earn network rewards simultaneously with that newly issued token. Your locked asset on one chain just became a working asset on another.
Okay, Section 3, liquid staking derivatives explained, the magic receipt. Let's demystify exactly what that newly minted token actually is.
So the crucial point is this. When you stake your original asset, it is locked away, doing the heavy lifting to secure the network. But you aren't left empty-handed, not at all. You are given a liquid staking derivative, a fully transferable token that accurately represents the one-to-one value of your underlying locked asset.
The founders of Kira use an incredibly relatable analogy for this. Think of it like depositing $1 into a traditional bank. The bank physically holds your dollar, right? But they give you a receipt, your bank balance, that proves you own that value. In the world of decentralized finance, Kira takes this a huge step further by making that digital receipt a fully tradable, functional asset in its own right.
I absolutely love this quote from Kira's CEO, Milana Valmont. She states, "Kira is a decentralized network that allows you to utilize 100% of your working capital. It's brilliant because you no longer have to choose. You don't have to decide between earning passive staking rewards or actively participating in the wider DeFi market. You literally get to do both."
Section 4, maximizing capital efficiency, or basically making your ETH work much harder. Let's look at exactly how Kira multiplies the utility of your assets.
Remember that one single ETH we bridged over? Just look at the compounding benefits it generates now. You're earning block rewards just from the staking process.
On top of that, you earn fee rewards generated by the network's overall activity. Meanwhile, because you hold that liquid derivative token, you can trade it on decentralized exchanges or use it as collateral in other DeFi apps, all simultaneously. Your one single asset is now generating multiple streams of utility and passive income. It's a real game changer.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it shows a complete shift in your risk profile. With native ETH staking, if the market tanks, you're trapped waiting for a protocol unlock period. You just have to ride the wave down. But with Kira Network, you simply take your liquid derivative token and instantly trade it for a stablecoin or another asset. It acts as an immediate escape hatch from market crashes.
Moving on to Section 5, Scaling Blockchain Security and the Honeypot Problem. While we've talked a lot about user benefits, we really need to look at a massive security flaw in traditional networks that Kira fundamentally solves. We call this the honeypot scenario. In a traditional proof-of-stake network, the security is capped by the total value of the native token staked. But what happens when the total value of the decentralized apps, the bridged assets, and the smart contracts built on top of that network becomes worth way more than the network's base security? It creates a massive honeypot. It actually gives validators a financial incentive to misbehave or even steal, because the loot they could get is worth more than the penalty they'd pay.
Kira's CTO, Mateus, lays out the terrifying reality of this math perfectly. He says, if you have $1 billion in Bitcoin deposited to a chain that has 100 million at stake, your validators have incentives to fork the chain and steal. Let that sink in. It illustrates exactly why a single token security model is ultimately flawed as Web3 continues to grow exponentially.
Let's move to and see how this builds visually. Native staking security has a fixed cap based on the token price. Inevitably, the value of DeFi applications built on top will exceed that cap, creating that honeypot we just talked about. But because Kira's multi-bonded proof of stake allows any deposited asset to secure the network, as more value flows into the applications, that same value is used to secure the network. Kira security scales infinitely and directly alongside its growth.
Finally, Section 6, a multi-chain future beyond the master chain. Let's zoom out to the broader vision of Web3 architecture here.
To synthesize everything we've covered today, native staking basically leaves your capital locked and idle, with capped security and pretty high volatility risk. Kira flips this entirely, right? Offering 100% liquid capital, infinitely scaling security, and a low volatility environment where you can always trade your derivatives. And it's really crucial to remember that Kira isn't just an alternative for Ethereum. It's a fully inclusive, cross-chain compatible hub connecting ecosystems like Polydot, Cosmos, and Ethereum. It supports staking for stablecoins, Bitcoin, and even NFTs like digital art or gaming items. Looking forward, it's perfectly positioned to handle the staking of tokenized real-world assets like commercial real estate. It's all about bringing deep liquidity to literally every corner of the market.
Which leaves us with this massive final question to chew on. When you look at the sheer capital efficiency and scalable security we've discussed today, you have to ask, will a single master chain truly rule Web3? Or is an interconnected hub of infinitely liquid assets the inevitable future of decentralized finance? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next one.